Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hi, you guys. It's great to see everybody in the chat already.
Scratch, call me out. Hey, Noogie. Yes, it's me. Raven's in the house. David, good to see you, brother. And who else we got here? We got Ricky. Miss Ricky's here as well. And I'm sure a lot more will be joining us. The sassy, we got two sassy ones here.
Yes, we got two sassy ones. So it's really good to see you guys. Got some interesting information today. I listened to it, and it's like the channeling, and I don't know. It's kind of weird when you do it because I said some things. I'm like, what? And and you're just basically relaying information, and sometimes I don't know. Just it's sort of like translating whatever comes through you. You translate the best you can, and I was just sort of surprised.
Yes, Judy K, good to see you, dear. Grizzly's in the house. Blessings to you, Jedi Master. Jeff, good to see you. Lisa as well. Heather, Rose War, Knowledge.
Very nice. Tamaz. Mr. Dave Lewis, I thought we said hi already, but we'll say hi to you all day long, and sometimes we do. There's Benjamin. Oh, and Cheryl S. Hi, Cheryl.
Lydia as well. Happy Friday. Up in the Pacific Northwest. And we were just talking to one of your family members also in the Pacific Northwest in the Seattle area. And it made me think today about another one of our family members that I haven't heard from in a while up and around Portland. So I'll have to reach out and see if she's okay. You know, it's always like one of those things where you don't see somebody after a while and you wonder, I hope everything's okay in this crazy world.
I know, right? Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff is going on. A lot of changes are happening, and they're happening quick.
Karen Lynn, good to see you. Raymond, Energy's 1111. Yeah, 2 notifications. Hopefully you got 3. So this is the first, well, the only live of the day, and then we did one on Evolutionary and one on EEARTS. And it's been a busy day, and it's, I don't know, 4 something over here, and we still got a lot of things to tend to. It's always busy, you know, and it's amazing how fast time goes by now. Does it feel like the days are going by faster to you guys? It feels like they're really speeding up to me.
Well, in reality, there is no time. It's just sort of like linear time anyway. It's like events, they measure by events. So time is an interesting characteristic, I think.
Ray of Thoth is here as well from Spokane. Yes.
Spokane. That's great.
I mean Spokane. I mean Spokane. Sorry, that's my flub. She catches my accent, which at times it could be a little towards the New York side. Sometimes it's a little more New England side. Sometimes there's a little bit of Southern in there because they spent like 12 years in the South.
Well, he's so cute because he says stuff like yesterday.
What's wrong with yesterday?
Yesterday. Like, I don't know. I remember a cocktail waitress I used to work with, and she would always say, "Order, George." It was just so cute. I love that accent.
So, yes. So much going on right now. You guys having a lot of wild dreams? How about, like, does it feel like you're seeing things? I mean, we're just getting so many downloads right now. It's crazy. And typically I'll get them in that in-between state, like if you wake up, like we woke up at, I think it was right around 5:45 or 6. And then that was a little bit early, I figure wait an hour or so and get back up. And then it ended up being like 3 hours later. But it was kind of like drifting in and out and just getting download after download after download. And then when we do our mantras and meditation, then it seems like, wow, then there's kind of clarity that comes.
There is. It's all very interesting. Things are changing. Our brains are changing. Bodies are changing. We have a lot of work to do, a lot of inner work. And people that we're on the planet with here and now are here to help us do that work. And I think that's important to recognize, too, those that you're partnered with.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that there's so much hidden knowledge, like right in front of us in so many places. And because we look at things and interpret things a certain way. Like, let's take it from a little bit more literal fundamentalist point of view. If you look at certain prophecies, certain things, there's so many people, and I was in those circles, 30 something years ago, 35 years ago, where, okay, it's this, then it's that, then this is going to happen. Then the Antichrist pops on the scene and rules for the second 3.5 years of the tribulation. And, well, it's got to be a pre-trib rapture, post-trib rapture. How about a mid-trib rapture? All these things. Why not use our intuition and really go within and seek some more guidance? And maybe look at other traditions to see if they talk about things that maybe line up with what you're seeing, in your own tradition, so to speak. It's really interesting because the signs are all there. There's a lot of truth spread all over the globe in different cultures. And when you start piecing things together, it gets really interesting.
Mm-hmm. It sure does. I mean, there's a lot to take into consideration. And I think the most important thing we need to do is really focus on our healing. And I feel like there's entities that are doing their darndest to throw stuff in our path to keep us from going within and figuring things out for ourselves and believing that, I don't know, it's like our reality is not what we were taught. It's nothing like what we were told.
No, like Cheryl says, it's more so during naps than hard sleep. I agree too. I got such clarity when I was very, very busy in my practice up in Ohio, where I would typically see, 5 to 8 people a day for energy work and different types of healing. And that's a lot, because most of those sessions were really 90 minutes. But in between, when I'd get 15 minutes here or there, I would go lay on my table, and all of a sudden I could feel other beings working on me energetically, repairing whatever needed to be repaired as I was working on people constantly. And then I would get downloads, I would see faces, get glimpses of past lives, and actually see my spirit guides. That's usually when I would see them. I could feel them working on me. And what a blessing that was. That was an amazing blessing. It spurred such tremendous growth. So that really it was such a key time in my life.
It is a beautiful thing to hear directly from your guides and see them and know them. But sometimes there's times in our life when we don't get all the information that we desire. And there's a reason for that too. We did come here for this experience. We came here on a mission. We came here, we pretty much wrote our own script. And I have a feeling that, like, if they were to tell us everything, you can't really call it a test if you know all the answers already.
Yeah, so there's reasons why we don't know everything because, again, it's all about growth. And it's all about how are we going to react in these times? How are we going to react? I showed Cindy for the first time the movie, The Celestine Prophecy. She never read any of the books, never saw the movie. And yeah, the movie was kind of low budget, but it still was kind of cool getting the point across. And, it shows you how people, souls have a certain mission, as those people were, reincarnating together multiple times with a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Definitely with purpose. And, we're here to help each other grow and understand that it's a difficult time right now too. I mean, there's so much going on in our bodies, and as above, so below, as within, so without. And look at the outside of us right now. It's in total chaos. And that just tells me there's got to be a lot of inner things happening with us now too.
Yeah, I do think that there's things like timeline shifts. I've experienced that a couple of times in my life dramatically, where I literally went to bed thinking something major in a negative sense was going on, then I woke up the next day and it hadn't happened. So it was kind of wild.
That stuff happens. And thank you so much, Spartano Negative 111. I love those numbers.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate it so much. And it's just wild watching what's going on. For a while, I stopped talking about everything that was going on, and other people have had the same thing. You go through, guys, I don't want to talk about anything negative. But at the same time, I know my purpose here is to wake up others, and we kind of got to talk about it. We can't, my personal purpose, is to wake up others and to help teach others about the human potential, what we really are, what we can do, what we can achieve, and then what we could change this world into as we go through this time period. Some people, it might not be their purpose to do something like that. And, in that case, then, maybe, shutting off the outside world if you're somewhere totally safe is okay. But at the same time, we can't deny that there's riots and protests going on. There's this, whatever it is, whether it is a virus or whether it's just a frequency or who knows exactly what's going on with that. There's so many things going on all around us, and they're touching us all in a impactful way. I mean, they're changing our lives. So I can understand wanting to ignore it or wish it all away, but at the same time, we have to adjust accordingly. It's just par for the course.
And you know what? If you really honestly feel you've been called to just be a sanctuary of peace and only a sounding board of peace, then that's what you do. We all have our own individual jobs. And I think as time we remember our mission and we move forward with it, we're all extremely unique. And all of us are needed to, push this whole mission on forward. We each need our own unique abilities, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, Osboy's in the house. So good to see all you guys. Andrew made it too. Yeah, it is a paradox. It is. It's how do you not lower vibrations when there's so many vibration lowering things going on around you? And the reason they are going on is because the dark powers know the ascension process is well underway, and they're not going to be able to hold on to us. So they're trying to do their best to still hang on to what they view as their cattle, property, asset.
We're viewed as property, and that's just the way it is. And where's Grizz? He says, "Roar battle, roar!" Hey! I think I'm getting better.
Yeah, it gave me chills that time. So I'll play for you guys what we got today, and then we could talk about that. And it was a good one. I knew she had a deep, deep connection going on. I just went through my own mantras that I was doing and was getting that blissful, just waves of energy just flowing through that can be so blissful. For those of you that do a lot of meditation, you can feel the cosmic energies coming in, and they are changing us. And it's just such a good feeling to bathe in that energy. So this is what we got today. Do we have a connection?
We do have a connection.
Who is it that we are speaking with?
You can consider us the Galactic Federation of Light. Your representative, LauRel, she's in charge of this transmission.
Well, thank you for communicating.
We wish to impart important information to your people about the changes that are going on in their bodies and the changes that are going on in society right now. Many changes are happening with your body. It's extremely important to understand that the pineal gland is getting larger at a very fast rate. This can cause hormone imbalances. This can cause fluctuations of anxiety and fear and other emotions like love. It can be a very confusing time for the human race.
We have been getting a lot of downloads during sleep and in different states of consciousness, including the message of some perhaps being taken in ships?
There will be something of what you might consider a rapture happen. Some people may stay, some people may go. This is all part of your human experience. The upgrades are necessary for you to continue on your path, continue on your mission. These changes must take place. Taking good care of your body right now is of utmost importance. Anchoring your light is extremely important. People are easily possessed right now. The energies are thick. They're looking for opportunities to anchor the darkness. They want to hold on to the darkness. Being aware of this is extremely important for the whole human collective.
We have gotten the message that there will be darker forces showing themselves to us, coming down in ships first, before the benevolent beings, perhaps yourself, comes later.
We always advise to follow your heart, follow what feels right, for this is your experience that you came here.
There has been a lot of earthquake activity on the West Coast and the feeling of something building as well. Will these earth changes...
Uh-oh.
Sorry guys, hang on one second. Let's see, let me get back here.
So,
Do we have a connection? All right,
let's
let me
move it
scoot up here.
forward.
Including the message of
any harm that may come can be minimized if humans are focused on healing themselves, healing their ancestral line, healing their DNA. The focus must be inward right now.
Most assuredly, that could be very difficult with everything going on right now, but it is well understood. As well, it seems like many people are having biological changes going on in their body besides the pineal gland. Many people perhaps losing their appetite, or food doesn't feel right after you eat it. Are there new organs being made in the body? New ways of assimilation underway?
These upgrades are also being done. These will show mostly in the children. Children that are fairly young right now will be getting these upgrades and changes. Some adults, very few, but they are getting these changes in their body. We suggest you take good care of yourself and allow these changes to occur. Do not be stressed. Do not be worried, for all of these things need to happen.
As we move up in density, will we not need to eat anymore? Eat physical food and just simply be able to absorb prana? Or will we just perhaps eat in a different way?
As you move up in density, the way that you eat depends on what you want to experience. Things become more and more. Things become much easier to manifest as you move up in density. You can create your reality.
So meaning if you chose to just simply live off of light that would be an option?
It is plasma. You are plasma. The sun is plasma. You can create whatever you wish.
So, would you say then at this point in time, a daily spiritual practice is probably the most important thing?
We would say it's imperative. The dark forces, the elites, as you call them, they are creating all of this chaos around you to keep you from going within. It does make it extremely difficult to go within, but we want to tell you it's extremely important that you practice going within, healing yourself, healing whomever you can, healing your loved ones. The relationships that you're in right now are extremely important. They're the ones that are going to help you climb in density. Be good to each other, care for each other, understand what you're each going through is very difficult. But it must happen. You are partnered the way you are for a very good reason. It's all about healing right now.
What other beings are part of this Galactic Federation? From what other star systems, planets?
We have Arcturians. We have beings that you would consider feline. We have reptilians. We have Pleiadians. We have others that the channel cannot translate. There are many from the Galactic Federation, all with their own particular soul stream, and they're all here to help humanity grow and ascend.
So there are benevolent reptilians as part of the group.
Indeed, just as there are good humans and bad humans, it's the same as above, so below. The channel's heart is starting to hurt. Can you please wake her?
Yes, I will. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Definite physical changes going on as well. We missed one little segment, which I thought was pretty important too, which I'm going to try to dig up while I hand this to.
Yeah, he's going to try to dig that one up. But a lot of things are happening, and I think the internal changes in our body is really, really important to know about because, you know, I don't want to give any medical advice. I'm not giving any medical advice, but I will tell you to follow your heart if you feel like you're having problems and something just doesn't seem right. You know, question that. You know, if you go see a doctor, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. You know, because they're not going to tell us what's going on as far as mainstream doctors go. They would never, ever remotely even suggest that we could be growing different organs or our organs are changing. They would never even go there.
Well, we're not allowed to say certain things because it goes against the powers that be's official take on everything, you know, if you want to go by their take. So this one part got skipped over. I bumped the mic on my phone and it jumped forward. So I want to just play this little part for you guys as well because I do think it's important. There has been a lot of earthquake activity on the West Coast and the feeling of something building as well. Will these earth changes, the greater earth changes, including perhaps crustal displacement, occur much later, after perhaps the dark ones are removed from power here on the globe? Or will it be concurrent or before?
It's extremely difficult to give these timelines, but because of the situation, we can say within the next 10 years there will be great changes. We do want to keep all people safe as much as possible, but it is up to you to raise your vibration.
The channel has been seeing this morning visions of tanks in the streets, and also visions of UN troops in the streets, and the channel has been feeling like this could be imminent.
They are preparing to protect you from an invasion. We do feel that China may be trying to invade. It is possible to thwart these efforts, to change timelines, to raise vibrations. So, the things that may happen, any harm that may come, can be minimized if humans are focused on healing themselves, healing their ancestral line.
So yeah, that's where we picked it back up there. Because, I'm not sure how much of it was Cindy and how much of it was LauRel coming through. Sometimes when Cindy's like sleeping in that in-between state, lately she's been talking and it's more like LauRel coming through. And I think that was happening in the middle of the night as well last night, because she was talking in her sleep.
I was really surprised I said anything about China, because that just, to me, I'm just, I don't like, I don't want to give out false information, none of that. So I was kind of surprised there, but mostly it's about, again, she said, going within, healing your ancestral DNA. These are really important things. And I think the elites, they know what's happening to our bodies. They know what's happening to our minds. They know we're getting more empathic. They know our abilities are coming to a head. So what are they going to do? They're going to create as much chaos as possible to keep us from acknowledging what's happening, and even make us, in many cases, not be able to stop and go within, because we're running around like chickens with our heads cut off, scared to death.
Granny Anonymous says Gerald Clark passed yesterday. I didn't hear that. Wow. So, yeah. Clark? Yeah, that's what she said. I haven't heard of it. Oh, wow. But, yeah, there's lots of visions coming through. Interesting, too, that she said UN troops, too. Are we going to see something like that? If they disband the police departments, that all that talk is about, are they going to ask for the UN to come in some of those towns and cities to police? And I shared with you guys, it was about a year ago that I went to bed. I remember dreaming that I was saying to Cindy as we were going to bed that I can't believe there's going to be UN troops in our country, foreign troops in our country when we wake up. And I did see them like in a troop transport coming, a clear picture of that as well. I think we're getting really close to a lot of these major things. I do really, really feel very strongly right now that the timeline we are on at the moment is one in which it's heading towards a WW3 event sequence that will happen, I feel, and be in place before we get done with this year. I do think that one of the keys will be the election or lack of election selection. And then I think it's when the country is basically at its weakest point that it'll happen. And it may very well look like a the initial wave is perhaps a earth change event or a series of earth change events. Maybe it looks like, Cascadia goes. Maybe it looks like, that happens and La Palma goes. And you have a, tsunami on the East Coast. I have seen in comments from other people saying that there's other people out there that are getting the message to get off of the coasts of the U.S. now, to get off of the coasts, if at all possible.
Yeah, and there's a lot of changes coming too, and I really think if as long as the focus is on the healing aspect of you, then everything else is going to fall into place where it's supposed to fall into place, and our bodies are changing, and our minds are changing, and that's really critical that we understand that, and not get too sucked up and like, gosh, it's hard to talk about stuff because I don't want to get this channel in trouble, but just always follow your heart. If you think something's wrong in your mind or in your body, listen to your heart first and get a couple different opinions on things too before you go out and do anything that you might regret later. There's just so much going on, and it just feels so much like they want us to anchor whatever light that we do have into their darkness instead of anchoring ourselves into the light and pulling ourselves up. They're trying to hold that anchor in their darkness, and it's something they've done for a long, long time. They know exactly what they're doing. It's not their first rodeo.
Yeah, so I do feel like the next 6 months are going to be kind of crazy, even crazier than what we saw in the first 6 months of this year. And it very well may include Cascadia happening and the San Andreas following. And that might look like a natural event, but people might be wondering, is it a natural event or not? So again, it's just more reason to prepare in every way. And most especially by taking the time to go within and, do things that raise your vibration and keep spreading, the word with others as well.
Definitely, and just keep going up. When you're faced with certain decisions, just do the next right thing and keep making the next best decision you possibly can. And that's going to help you climb up and up and up, and, work with the people that are partnered with you in your life right now. And they can help pull you up too, because that's what it's about right now.
And I'm just thinking about the people that I know in the chat right now. There's probably like half a dozen of you that are in between British Columbia, Vancouver, Washington, and Oregon, relatively close. It's good to see if we could develop some sort of connections even within the family. And we could think about that moving forward. We tried to do that before. At one time we did have a couple of EEA get-togethers. If the world ever gets into a normal-ish, it's never going to go back to what it was. But if we ever get to a point where we could actually do that without having to be so many feet away and wearing masks, it would be wonderful to have little local get-togethers, and it really could strengthen ties. We're going to need to lean on each other in many different ways for knowledge and, skills, ideas. There's so much that we could do together. And these times are going to be, I think, an even more intense roller coaster than we've experienced the first half of 2020, that we will experience in the second half of 2020.
Yeah, and Daryl says Strawberry Moon. Yes, we got a really super bright moon, and we got a video today of someone who videotaped the eclipse. And usually following an eclipse, there's like some major changes. Things change, swift change, because it's a change in vibration, because we're used to getting those constant frequencies coming from the moon that affect our hormones, affect our light bodies. So when that is bumped or changed, that can change the course of a lot of different things, and I think that's pretty interesting about eclipses.
Yeah, Velvet Fry says people are camping more. We do see that. We see a lot of RVs just stuck out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. People just leaving the cities. And I think there'll be massive waves of people leaving the cities soon. And, personally, I would hardly recommend leaving the cities if you can. I don't think it's a great idea in these times, obviously, with everything that we're seeing. So, guys, as always, I want to thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and also on Patreon. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for joining us on this live stream again. We love you guys. Stay safe out there.
Stay safe, you guys. God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.